Hey, how's it going? So somebody had mentioned in the comments that Israel Adesanya wanted Dan Hooker to fight on UFC 305 here. It's already a stacked card, of course, but that'd be amazing. Anytime Dan Hooker fights, I want to be there watching for sure. Uh, I think that the comment had stated that Dan Hooker versus Rafael Fiziev would be what would I think about that fight? And I think that fight would be fantastic. Um, I think that Rafael's coming off that terrible knee injury. I don't know if he's going to be the same after that or not in that Gamrot fight. I'm not sure. You know, with today's modern medicine and stuff, it seems like guys are able to recover and come back from injuries like that. Hopefully, he'll be able to do it. Dan Hooker, of course, is coming off a broken orbital and broken arm, which is I don't think the first time he's had either one of those in a fight, and winning that fight as well. He won that fight. It was a great fight. So, what do I think? I'm not sure. Let's take a quick look. Some of Rafael's work.
A lot of experience in that red corner of white. Second out.
So, Rafael, of course, call him Fiziev, but it seems like it's Fiziev to me. But anyway, his pressure is really his strength, right? So his hands, feet, his footwork, his head movement. His head movement's better than a lot of kickboxers just because of the angles he seems to take. A lot of kickboxers keep their head in a straight line, whereas he does dip quite a bit like a boxer in some situations. But yeah, his hands and feet are excellent, and of course his matrix skills are wonderful. I think the big difference, with Dan Hooker here, Dan's got a pretty good ground game. Rafael's, of course, takedown defense is amazing, but Dan's striking is also very good, but he's way more open to take punches like that. And Rafael does throw some bombs. So that's going to make for an interesting fight. I think Dan has some trouble sometimes going backwards. And Rafael pushes people backwards. So that might make for an interesting both guys. That was beautiful. That does make for an interesting dynamic, of course. What can Dan do to stop that if they fight? If we look at their size comparison, for instance, Dan is about 4 inches taller. He's 6 foot. Rafael's 5'8". Of course, they're both 155ers. But Dan's got a 4-inch reach advantage. So if he can keep pressure and keep him at range, that'd be great. But Dan likes to get into barroom fights, and that's going to favor Rafael. So if Rafael comes back the same, if he's 95% of what he was, and he's able to put that pressure on consistently, constantly to Dan Hooker, I think that with his ability to move like that and those ridiculous body kicks, I think he could take the fight. Yeah, if they were to fight, I think he could take it for sure. I would bet on him if I had to make a bet. So, although I love Dan Hooker, he's one of my favorite fighters. I don't know. I think the style matchup might be an issue. We can see, Dan did not do well with Michael Chandler, but he was having some issues at the time. He did go with Dustin Poirier. I mean, he lost, but it went to decision, and it was a great fight. And he beat Nasrat and Jalen Turner. So, but I just think that Fiziev's on a different level, honestly. I think he's on a different level than all those guys. So Dan has shown that level before, and he might be able to show it again. But yeah, we'll have to see.